Right now at 6, the Osage Beach Police Department is mourning loss of one of their own over the weekends.
I got a pretty cool start to the day, and I don't mean it's awesome. It's chilly outside. Well, look at that Labor Day forecast for you coming up.
Plus, local greenhouses are spending more as temperatures continue to be high. Lonnie Walton has more.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Anthony Saviello.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Labor Day. It's Monday.
It's going to be a beautiful Labor Day.
Well, it's going to be mostly cloudy, but on that note, it's not going to be bad otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, and that way if you're barbecuing outside, you don't have to, bake in the sunshine.
Yeah.
All right, temperatures are going to be pretty cool,
You
too.
don't have to bake while you're baking.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I mean, because you don't want to have to put on all that suntan lotion and become flammable yourself while you're trying to make a good Labor Day meal. And it's going to be, again, temperature-wise, pretty pleasant out there, below normal. Let's start first with a look outside from our camera on downtown Pittsburgh, 4th and Broadway, looking back roughly to the southeast, and looking pretty good so far this morning. Our camera 7th and Rangeline also looking good, and we're going to switch gears just a few blocks south to 20th and Rangeline. The MoDOT camera located on the traffic signal pole there, looking back to the north. Also, a pretty great start to the day. Relatively dry out there. Now, clouds are going to increase pretty quickly through the morning hours, and it will become mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy out there. So that's why you don't have to worry about the sunshine beating down on you. However, don't let the clouds deceive you. It's not expected to rain today. We're not looking at any rain chances today. We need rain, but we're not looking at any today. Quick look at temperatures. Take a look at that. We are falling back still. 61 now, Joplin and Pittsburgh. So meteorological start to fall was yesterday. Official start to fall is the 22nd, but today certainly feels like fall. We got some upper 50s, Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Independence. And then we've got those low 60s, and further south into northeastern Oklahoma, we have some upper 60s. But again, we're supposed to be in the upper 60s for our lows, many of us well below that. Average high again, 88 today. Not going to see that. We're going to go low mid 80s across the area with those mostly cloudy skies, northeast breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to stay below normal for a little while, and then unfortunately, the heat makes a return. And I mean the heat makes a return. We'll have details on that in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, Chris, thanks. A Missouri police officer has been killed in the line of duty. Felicia Carson died in a crash during a police pursuit early Saturday morning. Missouri State Highway Patrol still have an ongoing investigation about the circumstances around the crash. Carson had been with the police department since June 2023. Carson leaves behind a husband and 6 children. Joplin police have identified the driver of a semi-truck who was killed earlier this week on Interstate 44. On Tuesday, authorities responded to reports of a rollover crash at the 9-mile marker on I-44. A semi-truck driven by 51-year-old Jermaine Bingham of Bixby, Oklahoma, left a roadway and struck an overhead sign support pole. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Labette Center for Mental Health Services held a Green Zone event Friday in Parsons. The event provides opportunities for veterans reintegrating back into the community. The program addressed the strengths and challenges of veteran populations, as well as providing community networking and information on employment, housing, and mental health.
Partnership with people doesn't necessarily mean a perfect like-mindedness, that you don't have to be a superhero to help someone. You can start helping and then pass the baton to the right place. And that engaging someone is often more important than having the perfect answer.
The event also featured a catered lunch. This was the 10th presentation of the Labette Community Green Zone event. A local greenhouse in Neosho says he had to spend more time and money to keep on top of things due to constantly high temperatures this season. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
Daniel Mitchell from 4 States Greenhouse says the weather just hasn't been good for him or his crops this season.
It's been just a drought the entire month, right? You don't really get much rain. It's just the clouds aren't as thick as they used to be.
Due to the extra time and money spent on additional gear, he had to find work elsewhere.
We've done a couple landscaping jobs just to be able to pay for some of the stuff that we've been doing here. And I mean, of course, we're happy to do it, but you know, we're always running out of time because we're constantly busy.
Angela Harris from Alchemist Haven says these temperatures are bad for small businesses.
Small local farmers really struggle to have those things, especially when natural resources aren't there.
Angela says there are a few ways to keep your crops safe.
Make sure that you have proper runoff for your crops so you're not wasting water as they're being watered.
Reporting in Southwest Missouri, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The greenhouse sells mums at shops across the area, including Alchemist Haven in Joplin. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Immigrants in California may soon be able to apply for financial aid to help buy a home. We'll have the details. Plus, a new survey shows that many Americans are moving to a rent first, buy later mentality. And Chris will have a look at your 10-day forecast. You're watching KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, one Dallas police officer is dead and 2 others injured following a shootout. Police say the suspect fatally shot an officer in his marked patrol car in what law enforcement officials are calling an execution. Rick Damagella has the latest.
A Dallas police officer was killed late Thursday night in what police are calling an execution. 46-year-old Darren Burks was a former teacher and graduated from the police academy just last December.
I know that the word ambush has been thrown around in the last 24 hours or so. That's not what happened here. Officer Burks was executed.
Police say the suspect, 30-year-old Corey Cabe, approached the officer in his squad car, recording the conversation on his phone, then pulled out a handgun and shot Officer Burks.
When our officers arrived, they found a Dallas police officer who had been shot in his marked patrol vehicle. Responding officers then exchanged gunfire with the suspect at that scene, and 2 officers were shot at that scene.
One of those officers was treated and released. The other remains hospitalized. Police say the suspect fled in his car. Officers pursued and the chase ended north of Dallas. Police say officers shot the suspect after he pointed a shotgun at them. He died at the scene.
Our officers were targeted for nothing more than the uniform they wear and for the brave and honorable job that they do.
The investigation is ongoing, but police say the shooting was premeditated. At least 93 law enforcement officers have been killed in the line of duty this year, according to the Officer Down Memorial page.
Our department is hurting. We're grieving the loss of our brother after this senseless evil act.
I'm Rick Damagella reporting.
Governor Tim Walz visits the Minnesota State Fair yesterday. Walz stopping by the Great Minnesota Get-Together in St. Paul. His visit comes after a busy few days on the campaign trail where the vice presidential hopeful visited Savannah, Raleigh, and Boston. He is expected to speak with labor union leaders in Minnesota today before heading to Milwaukee for Labor Fest 2024. The Harris-Walz campaign is trying to highlight their campaign's promise to deliver for union workers. Former President Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance are taking the holiday weekend off. They are slated to visit Arizona and Georgia tomorrow. More consumers are waving goodbye to buying and they're choosing to rent, and it's for a surprising reason. A Credit Karma survey says that nearly 3 in 5 Americans who already rent or lease goods and services are going for a rent-first option. They're doing so out of personal choices and lifestyles and not for financial pressures. Credit Karma says a quarter of Americans rent because they like flexibility. 27% like trying out things before buying. 21% say they want to avoid an overconsumption lifestyle, and when it comes to cars, 42% want to lease in order to get a new car every few years. Disney pulls its networks from DirecTV following unsuccessful contract negotiations. Disney-owned channels including ESPN networks and ABC went dark for DirecTV customers on Sunday. The satellite provider says it offered an extension for Disney's channels in exchange for waiving all potential legal issues, claiming its behavior is anti-competitive. Disney says it will not agree to terms that undervalue its offerings. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi indicates her support on Bill Maher's HBO show for California's controversial bill that would provide financial aid for undocumented immigrants to buy homes. Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
Zero money down sounds like a good deal. It's for first-time home buyers, but it's drawing criticism because it would be available to those illegally present in the U.S. as well. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling Bill Maher she likes the idea.
Let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people.
California lawmakers passing the Dream for All loan program bill, providing 20% in down payment assistance up to $150,000 to first-generation home buyers, and prohibiting California from disqualifying loan applicants based on their immigration status. Now, they passed it despite California's finance department saying the existing program, started back in June, ran out of money in just 11 days. And while Pelosi likes the idea, she's not sure she would actually vote for it.
You'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you're a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented.
But it's not a done deal. It's still unclear if Governor Gavin Newsom will sign this when it hits his desk.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. We'll go to Chris with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's taking a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Got a few clouds out there right now, but if you look off to the south and west, there are more clouds, and they are pulling up this way. And we're going to start to see them increasing as we head through the day today, and will eventually be mostly cloudy to just plain old cloudy. Quick look outside from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. You can see a few clouds out there already, and again, they'll continue to increase across the area. We're not looking at any rain chances for our Labor Day, but those mostly cloudy skies will be the main story, and temperatures below normal as well. We should be about 88. We're looking at highs low to mid 80s today, so a little bit on the cool side for, well, in terms of record-keeping purposes. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about how long this cool weather lasts and when the heat returns, because unfortunately it will when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Good morning, I'm Anthony Saviello with your KOAM News Update. A Missouri police officer has been killed in the line of duty. Felicia Carson died in a crash during a police pursuit early Saturday morning. Missouri State Highway Patrol is investigating into the circumstances around the crash. Carson had been with the police department since June 2023. Carson leaves behind a husband and 6 children. Local organizations in Joplin put together a memorial walk for victims of substance abuse and overdose. In 2022, over 250 people in southwest Missouri died of drug overdose. During the vigil, there are 250 pairs of shoes to commemorate those community members who are no longer with us due to substance abuse disorder.
And for our Labor Day, we've got mostly cloudy skies, no rain expected today, and it'll keep us a little cooler than average. Low to mid 80s, northeast breeze around 5 to 10. Mostly cloudy skies continue through the evening and overnight. Chilly tonight, upper 50s and low 60s for our lows. As we look ahead to tomorrow, even cooler, upper 70s, low 80s for our highs. Mid 80s Wednesday, Thursday, maybe a few pop-up showers and storms. Not bad Friday and Saturday, a little warmer on Sunday. Unfortunately, the heat looks to return as we head into the next work week, going into the low to mid 90s.
Welcome back. Lori Horton from Celebration by Lori joins us today with a recipe for an ice cream pie. Lori, what do we got going on today?
Oh, this is a good one. It's so simple, but it's perfect for a day like today. No need to turn the oven on.
Perfect.
Pretty basic stuff, probably stuff you already have in the house. So if you're having family over this afternoon, this evening to cook out, this is going to be a perfect dessert you can throw in around noon. Have it in the freezer or the fridge, and it's going to be ready to go for supper.
So if ovens don't work for you, this is the perfect.
Exactly.
Okay,
and we've got a couple of options on it. So our recipe that'll be available online later is going to have some tips on there for baking it as a pie, like in a traditional pie shell. And you can absolutely do that. But what I did yesterday, we had a family reunion for the weekend, right?
Perfect.
Labor Day. I did it for a larger group. So that's what I'm going to do for you guys today, kind of show you if you're having 10 or 12 people over, it's going to be perfect.
All right.
So we've got to start with a base crust. So if you're doing this as a pie, you can use a homemade pie crust, you can make a pie crust, you can do graham cracker. Oreo goes great with this because we've got
Oreo.
cherry.
Yes.
We've got to have the chocolate,
Yes.
right? This is going to be the exception. A lot of times on the show I've talked about how when we use Oreos and we crush them, we want to take the filling out. We need that yummy flavor. We need a little bit of that fat to bind it to make this base. So we're going to leave that together, but you do need to grind this up in a food processor. If you guys can see, my crumbs are very fine. We want this to be pretty nicely ground up, not a lot of big pieces of Oreo left in there. And all I'm going to do for this one is make a little noise and just sprinkle this all and make a nice layer in the bottom of my pan. And this is about a 9 by 11 aluminum pan, because again, we're going outside tonight and we're just making this easy. We don't need to do dishes when it's over. We're gonna finish this up and throw it away or send it home with the leftovers. And then I've got a little bit of melted butter. So again, this is where if you were doing this in a pie pan, you would bake that pie crust a little bit, but we don't really have to do that when we're doing this in bulk, because we're going to scoop this out. We don't have to slice it and make it look all pretty. We're going to pour just a little bit of that melted butter, and you just kind of go by ear. I've got about a half a stick in there that I melted.
Okay.
Add it in there, and then just sort of mix that around a little bit and flatten it back out. You don't want it to be real wet. You just want it to have a little bit of something to bind that, so when you spoon it out, it makes it a little bit easier. And then you can just easily set that aside while we mix up our filling, which we're going to do when we come back in our second segment, because it's got a couple more steps.
Sure.
But this is simple. So again, if you're doing it in your pie crust, you would do this and then you would pop it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. And all you're going to do is kind of toast that Oreo base and make that pie crust a nice solid piece. One little tip if you are doing that, when you get to the edges in a round crust, take a spoon, a rounded edge of a spoon, even your measuring spoon will work, and pat that in that edge, because when you cut it, you need it a little thicker in the corners so that it stays together and you don't get that annoying sort of broken up piece. Still tastes great, but it doesn't look very pretty. It makes it kind of hard to transfer to the plate. So that's a little extra bonus tip there if you are doing it as a pie. And we want to keep in mind this filling will make 2 full pies if you're doing it that way. That's why we're going in bulk today. So when we come back, all of our filling, delicious.
Well, we're starting off right because we got Oreo in the pan.
Absolutely, and butter. It's health food practically.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:24 now on this Labor Day Monday here in the 4 states. Got a great sunrise from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Take a look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Another great shot of that from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. Just a nice, just get right out of the way. Let you take all that in. A lot of beautiful colors out there as we get this day underway. Heading down south, MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. Sun rising off to the right, a little starker off to the left because that's west, that's east, that's north, and otherwise, again, not a bad start to the day and pretty decent from the KDOT camera 69 and Kansas Crossing just south of Pittsburgh. Right now, we don't have that many clouds out there. However, clouds are going to begin to increase fairly quickly this morning, building in from the south and west. And by about mid-morning, we're going to be mostly cloudy out there. And as we head through today, it'll be mostly cloudy to, in some cases, just plain old cloudy. However, although we need the rain, we're not looking at any today for Labor Day. So don't let the clouds deceive you. If you've got outdoor plans, it'll be cloudy, but we're not looking at any rain chances for us on our Labor Day. Unfortunately, we are not looking at any decent rain chances over the next several days either. We'll be mostly cloudy tonight. Mostly cloudy on our Tuesday. Starting Tuesday a little cooler as well. We're already fairly cool this morning. Be even cooler, which means Tuesday's highs even cooler. We're looking at upper 70s, low 80s out there. So again, not a bad day whatsoever. Considering our average high this time of year is about 88 degrees, and we will not be near that for a while. But you're going to want to soak in these temperatures because things are going to change a little later on down the road. Later into our Wednesday, again, starting the day mostly cloudy and cool, and we'll have an opportunity as clouds clear. We get a little more heating for an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Unfortunately, most of us at this point look to remain dry, and I say that unfortunately because we have drought conditions starting to show back up here in the 4 states, and we need some rain. We need the rain badly. We're sitting at 61 in Joplin right now. Northeast breeze at 7 miles an hour, and temperatures across the area, again, fairly cool. Of course, the further north you are, the cooler it is, but take a look. Iola at 56 degrees. 50s, Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Stockton, Nevada, Lamar, and Independence this morning. So pretty cool start for many of us as you head down into northeastern Oklahoma, some upper 60s, but still not a bad start to the day. Be a little cool this morning, mid 60s as we get the day underway, partly cloudy skies, and as I mentioned, these clouds will move in quickly. I will be about the mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, again, below normal, low mid 80s out there, mostly cloudy skies, northeast breeze at about 5 to 10. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies through the evening, mostly cloudy skies overnight, and again cooler. Most of us on average low 60s, but upper 50s absolutely possible out there. So a very cool day to say, or cool night rather, to say the least. Looking down the road. All right, mid-80s Wednesday, Thursday, so still below normal. Maybe a couple of pop-up storms. We do need more rain, but unfortunately right now it's the best we're looking at. Sunny skies heading into the weekend. Low to mid-80s Friday and Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday. And then this is when it gets unpleasant. Again, that average high 88. As we head into the next work week, we are looking at temperatures going back up into the low to mid 90s across the area. So that summer heat, even though we're in meteorological fall, we're not in official fall yet. It's definitely going to heat up. That's a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Anthony with Health Watch.
You've had the hiccups this morning a little bit, Chris.
It's all the coffee. The number of cups of coffee it takes to get through the day gets tough.
Well, topping today's Health Watch, new research tracked more than 1,000 kids from preschool through adulthood and found that early childhood education programs were associated with better health in midlife. The study published in JAMA Network Open found the childhood programs were linked to better cardiovascular and mental health, as well as better economic well-being and other social benefits. Late-stage cancer diagnosis is more likely among minority youth than white youth. That's the finding of researchers at Stanford who looked at data from more than 250,000 patients. The risk of late-stage diagnosis was significantly higher for Asian and Black adolescent and young adult patients than it was for white patients, and some minority groups were also significantly more likely to die from the disease. And there's a new evidence that challenging a big medical bill could be worth the time and effort. A study at the University of Southern California found that more than 3/4 of people who reached out about an unaffordable bill got some type of financial relief, and most said it took less than an hour on the telephone. But they found that many people don't contact billing offices because they think it won't make a difference. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, educators in Oklahoma are adjusting to new methods for test scoring after an unannounced change was made.
And we've got a beautiful start to the day out there. A little bit chilly for some of us as well. We're going to have a look at your Labor Day forecast coming up.
Plus, one organization helps remind us of the dangers of drug overdosing.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:32. I'm Anthony Saviello.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Labor Day Monday, September the 2nd. Here we are. And Lori.
I'm so proud of you.
Hold on. Lori is here. And I've been watching Lori. And I feel like she feels like she's a mother watching her 2 kids just go absolutely crazy. because she's sitting there. We're having a good time up here.
Yeah.
You know, we're being a little. It's Labor Day. We're being a little silly.
It's only a matter of time before we break out into a fight, and she has to break.
She's gonna have to. You're gonna watch her come up and separate us.
Yes.
She's gonna put you there, me over there, and tell us not to look at each other. So you know. Yeah. Well, we do have a pretty decent Labor Day for us except for you. But the rest of you, it's gonna be pretty good. Clouds increasing though. We're gonna start with a cloudless shot from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. We got that sun rising, and right now it's looking, of course, off to the east toward the sunrise. Off to the west, the clouds are gradually beginning to increase, and eventually this view will become mostly cloudy over the next couple hours. Great look at that sunrise also from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. We'll head a little further south. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking back to the north along Rangeline. Looking fairly good so far this morning as we get this Labor Day underway. Future track by noon already showing where we've got those clouds thickening up across the area, and they will do so again quickly through the morning hours, and will be again mostly cloudy, in some cases just plain old cloudy, but temperatures today below average out there. In fact, they'll be even more significantly below average to the tune of about 10 degrees on our Tuesday for some of us. So enjoy it, because eventually the summer heat will return. While we're in meteorological fall, we're not in actual fall, and Mother Nature is going to give us an unfriendly reminder about that. 61 in Joplin right now, 60 in Pittsburgh. We've got some 50s out there as well. Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Lamar, Independence. You kind of get the idea. It's a bit of a chilly start for some of us. And we've got the upper 60s down into parts of northeastern Oklahoma. Our highs, average is 88. We're looking low to mid 80s today, mostly cloudy skies, northeast breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And then again, like I said, next week, the heat returns. We'll talk about all those details, and that's going to come up in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, Chris, thanks. Oklahoma schools are working to deal with a recent change in state test scoring. This comes after the Oklahoma Department of Education changed its scoring method, but didn't announce the change. Some Oklahoma schools saw an increase in students' test scores, but the scores were misleading. Miami schools say they don't know the exact reason for the new scoring methods.
I don't know all the reasoning. We really weren't communicated that the cut scores were going to be lowered. And so that's kind of why everyone's in limbo, awaiting an answer.
Miami schools look at the students' OPI scores to gauge performance rather than their proficiency score, which offers a more accurate indicator of growth. Through using this method, they notice their school has about a 10-point increase in scores compared to last year. Saturday was Overdose Awareness Day, and local organizations in Joplin put together a memorial walk for victims of substance abuse and overdose. In 2022, over 250 people in southwest Missouri died of a drug overdose. During the vigil, there are 250 pairs of shoes to commemorate those community members who are no longer with us due to substance abuse disorder.
Each year this event has gotten bigger and bigger, and that is awesome because it means that people are starting to catch on to what we're doing and helping us spread the word about substance use disorder and overdose awareness.
Over 60 people participated in this year's walk. The third annual Christian Heddy Memorial Car Show took place yesterday. Christian, the son of our very own Doug Heddy, passed away from cancer back in September of 2021. Since then, the car show has been held in his memory and raises money to support kids fighting cancer. Christian Heddy Foundation Go Gold Gala will also be taking place on September 14th. The last day to buy tickets will be Tuesday, September 3rd. If you would like tickets, you can email christianheddyfoundation.com. Pittsburgh State held their season opening football game over the weekend, with tailgaters arriving as early as 8:30 Saturday morning and to get a head start on the festivities. KOAM's Mitch Adams headed to Carney Smith Stadium to talk with some devout tailgaters.
We're getting fired up. We're tailgating. We've been here since 10. What is Fair State? We don't know. We're about to find out. Got some dogs rolling on the grill. We're going to play some cornhole, get some bags rolling, get everybody fired up for game day.
We started tailgating here in 1992. We started with a little disposable throwaway grill and some palooka sausage, and we grilled it, and it was great. We had a good time, and at the time there was like 1 or 2 people tailgating out here. We have a good time, but we get out here and we serve food a couple hours before the game time, and we have probably 50 to 100 people, depending on the game, that come out and eat.
Oh, Pitt State's tailgating, yes. The atmosphere here is just amazing. Hey, Gorillas! Gorillas!
Yes!
Pitt State beat Ferris State 19-3 in a battle of the Division II top 10. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour of the KOAM Morning News. Rising food costs are having an effect on Labor Day barbecues this Labor Day weekend. We'll have tips on how you can save a few dollars at the grocery store. Plus, Chris will have a look at your work week forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got ourselves another below average day out there after a warm Sunday. Low to mid 80s, mostly cloudy skies, northeast breeze around 5 to 10. Mostly cloudy through the evening into the overnight, and another chilly one as we fall back into the upper 50s and low 60s. Will be really cool tomorrow. It'll be upper 70s, low 80s. A few pop-up storms possible Wednesday, Thursday. Heating up into the weekend and next week back into the low to mid 90s.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Kroger customers, you may have been overcharged for basics like milk and eggs. An executive for the grocery store chain admitted to intentionally raising some prices above inflation levels for a time as his company tries to buy one of his main competitors. But all food shoppers are feeling the pinch this Labor Day weekend as they gather around the grill. While inflation has fallen below 3% for the first time since 2021, food inflation remains a problem. CBS's Janet Shamelin has digs into the issue.
The unofficial end of summer, officially arriving with higher prices for that Labor Day barbecue.
Prices have gone up. Most all prices are up. The wings here especially have really escalated in price.
This is Bud's House of Meat in Houston.
How much product will you go through this weekend?
We're going to go through a lot, about 1,600 pounds of leg quarters, 2,000 pounds of sausage, 5,000 pounds of ribs. I need you to go help cut orders.
Owner Tim Heiner also stocks all the barbecue side dishes, including dessert, plus staples like milk and eggs.
Eggs are crazy. Eggs are about $1.50, almost $2 more than my cost was last year.
For shoppers, the price of a dozen eggs is up 47%, now averaging more than $3. In 1 year, hot dogs are up almost 10%, ground beef nearly 8%, ribs more than 4%, and beans 6%. That beer you plan to wash it all down with has increased more than 3%.
What'd you buy today?
Steak,
How much did it cost?
$28.
What did you think it would cost?
About 10.
Even with inflation cooling, experts say prices are rising due to higher labor costs, drought conditions, and in the case of beef and poultry, low inventory. Bird flu also taking a toll.
Has it changed your buying habits?
To some degree, yes. There are some things that I just rarely buy, I don't buy anymore. Even some meat products I don't buy anymore.
But they are still buying. You can see people here in this butcher shop, and it is right before closing time. More than 70% of consumers say they will celebrate the Labor Day holiday, a majority planning to either grill or barbecue with family and friends. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Houston.
As people pick up barbecue here at Bud's, almost 70% of consumers say they will celebrate this Labor Day, a majority planning on grilling with family and friends. Thousands of hotel workers around the U.S. began walking off the job over this busy Labor Day weekend. It comes after labor negotiations between major hotel chains and the Unite Here union broke down. The union represents front desk workers, housekeepers, and other workers who are demanding better wages and working conditions. Unite Here says strikes have been authorized to begin at any time in several other cities. Spokespersons for two of the major hotel chains, Hilton and Hyatt, tell CBS News they look forward to continuing negotiations with union members. Millions of people in Brazil no longer have access to X, formerly known as Twitter. Brazil's Supreme Court blocked the platform over the weekend after owner Elon Musk refused court orders, including one to name a representative in the country. Those who access the platform by VPN could also face thousands of dollars in fines. Musk and a top justice on the court have feuded for months over disinformation on the platform. And Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine topped the slow Labor Day weekend at the box office, taking it just over $15 million in North America. That was followed by Alien Romulus with $9 million, and it ends with Us with over $7 million. The biopic Reagan debuted at fourth, also raking in just over $7 million. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll go to Chris with another look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a mostly cloudy day out there. Now, right now, it's not that way, but clouds really quickly moving in from the south and west, and that'll give us those mostly cloudy skies through the day today. We'll have that light northeasterly breeze, so all in all, not too bad, and temperatures below normal. So if you do have outdoor plans, don't let the clouds fool you. As much as we need some rain, we don't have any expected for us today, and what we do have this week is going to be relatively limited. Quick look at temperatures, 61 in Joplin. Look at this now. Pittsburgh has fallen into the upper 50s at 59. So we're seeing a number of upper 50s this morning. So we've got Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Lamar. We just saw the update on Pittsburgh and Independence. And then further south you go, a little warmer, upper 60s out there. So again, a cool start to the day. Meteorological fall, of course, yesterday, official fall the 22nd, and we will have some summer-like weather as we head into the next work week. Those details in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Michelle Miller. Coming up on CBS Mornings, it's another edition of Beg Knows America. David has an update on his story of a 90-year-old veteran working at a grocery store and the woman who started raising money for him so he could retire. That's coming up on CBS Morning.
Welcome back. It is time for some Labor Day birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to start in Cherokee with Grady Morris celebrating birthday number 3. It says, "We love you, Grady."
And from Thayer, Kansas, Brexton Thornton is celebrating birthday number 8. Happy birthday, Brexton.
And over in Scammon, Caitlin Peak celebrating birthday number 10. Happy birthday, Caitlin.
And Natalie Storm celebrating her 15th birthday from Jasper, Missouri. Happy birthday, Natalie.
And in Pittsburgh, Emily Bollinger celebrating birthday number 27. Happy birthday, Emily.
Staying in Kansas, in Iola, Brittany Aikens celebrating birthday number 31. Happy birthday, Brittany.
And in Columbus, Heidi Lloyd celebrating another year wiser, says happy birthday to a great wife and mother.
And in McCune, Clark Egbert celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Clark.
And our list continues with Joshua Merrill in Girard celebrating birthday number 29. Happy birthday.
And Matt Saporito in Columbus celebrating birthday number 45. Happy birthday, Matt.
And our neighbors in Crestline, Lloyd and Vera Helwig celebrating their 63rd wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to the Helwigs. And that another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And we celebrate these Monday through Friday. We'd like to celebrate with you. Anthony has some details you need to know.
Well, if you want to submit your birthday or anniversary to have us read it right here, live on air, you can submit it to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Like I said, we'll read those out right here, live on air.
We certainly will, and of course include those pictures and messages because we love all of those as well. All right, starting with our camera downtown Pittsburgh, looking back toward the east, toward the sunrise. Again, initially for now, we've got some clear skies to the east. Now, if we were to swing this back around to the west or southwest, it'd be a slightly different story as clouds are expected to increase across the area through the morning. Not a bad view from our camera at 7th and Rangeline either as we get this Labor Day underway. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. If you look up around the banner, you can see, because it's looking north, but coming in from behind this camera, some of those clouds already working their way in. And we're not too bad either from the KDOT camera. 69 in Kansas, crossing just south of Pittsburgh. The future track, as soon as we hit noon, you can already see mostly cloudy skies across the entire region. So the clouds that are rolling in will do so rather rapidly, and they'll increase pretty quickly through the morning hours as well. Unfortunately, while we... Are you okay? Yeah. Did you fall? No. Okay. As we go, You never know. It's Monday, and sometimes too much coffee, not enough coffee. But as we go through the day, we need rainfall. We're not expecting any, unfortunately. So don't let the clouds fool you. If you've got some outdoor plans, you can still stick with those. We'll be mostly cloudy through the evening and into the overnight hours as well, and this will even continue into our Tuesday, but this allows us to also be a little cooler. We're talking a few more upper 50s to start our Tuesday out there, and our temperatures average high 88. Some of us may be upwards of 10 degrees below the normal high on Tuesday, but you'll want to enjoy it because it will not last. We're not actually officially into official fall yet, and summer is going to remind us of that as we head into the next work week. But otherwise, tomorrow, upper 70s and low 80s. We go into our Wednesday. We start the day mostly cloudy, and then we'll see an opportunity for maybe an isolated pop-up shower or storm, and that chance will carry over into Thursday as well, but these will be very limited out there. Quick look outside at temperatures. We are sitting at 61 in Joplin, northeast breeze at about 7 miles an hour. And again, that's just a great view out there right now. And across the area, a lot of upper 50s already. Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Lamar. This map hasn't updated yet, but Pittsburgh was sitting at 59, so and 57 in Independence. So a pretty cool start to the day. We get the morning underway. Again, initially we'll start with those partly cloudy skies, very quickly increasing from southwest to northeast, and we'll be about the mid-70s by late morning. As I mentioned, summer heat does make an appearance again. It's going to be a little bit, but it is on its way back. We'll go over those details with you, as well as the news you need to know when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Missouri police officer has been killed in the line of duty. Felicia Carson died in a crash during a police pursuit early Saturday morning. Missouri State Highway Patrol is investigating into the circumstances around the crash. Carson had been with the police department since June 2023. Carson leaves behind a husband and 6 children. Oklahoma schools are working to deal with a recent change in state test scoring. This comes after the Oklahoma Department of Education changed its scoring method but didn't announce the change. Miami schools say they don't know the exact reason for the new scoring methods. Through using this method, they noticed their school has about a 10-point increase in scores compared to last year. And local organizations in Joplin put together a memorial walk for victims of substance abuse and overdose. In 2022, over 250 people in southwest Missouri died of a drug overdose. During the vigil, there are 250 pairs of shoes to commemorate those community members who are no longer with us due to substance abuse disorder. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, a bit of a chilly start for many of us out there. Below normal highs, low to mid 80s, mostly cloudy skies, northeast breeze about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Heading through the evening, still mostly cloudy, and into the overnight, low 60s for most of us, but a few more upper 50s absolutely possible. We'll be even cooler tomorrow, mostly cloudy, upper 70s, low 80s for highs, so upwards of 10 degrees off of normal. Pop-up storm chances Wednesday and Thursday into the mid 80s, low to mid 80s Friday and Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday. And then that, Mother Nature reminds us it is still technically the season of summer as we go back into the low to mid 90s by the next work week. So enjoy this week while it lasts.
I plan to. It'd be a nice week to mow your lawn if you haven't yet.
Yes, this is a good time to do that.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making farm stand fruit dip in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, realtors are using a new technology that will allow you to track what is important to a home buyer in real time.
Plus, Lori Horton back in the studio with continuing that recipe for the cherry no-churn ice cream pie. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you here today at noon.